to build a shopping centre on top of the historic site where the 1916 rebels made their last stand is not just because they want to enrich the greedy developers who brought this country to its knees. It is not just because they want a shopping centre to drive the street traders out of business to make money for those greedy developers, but it is also because they want to bury this country's revolutionary history. And I want to say they do that because they are afraid of that history, they are afraid of the people. And we are engaged now, and in the next 6 weeks, as we run up to the election, in a psychological war. That's what it is a psychological war. You know, Alan Kelly said recently, as part of that psychological war, he only spends 2% of his time now thinking about water, because apparently he is spending the rest of the time thinking about housing. Now I ask you, which is worse? For Alan Kelly to spend a lot of time thinking about something, or to spend no time thinking about it at all? Because he has generated the worst housing and homelessness crisis in the history of the state, and he has generated the worst scandal and shambles with Irish water that is possibly imaginable. But of course, it is, as Enda Kenny stands out there in City West today and tries to tell this country and its people that they have been a tremendous success. This is part of the psychological war. They are trying to make us think and believe that the battle is over, that it is a foregone conclusion, that the same gangsters who inflicted such suffering on us for the last 5 years are going to be returned to power. But they are doing that because they know that this movement is a mortal threat to their control of this country. And it is unbelievable, it beggars belief that they could claim success. I mean, ask yourself, what are the most basic things that we need for a civilized society? Water, housing, health, and education. And they have made an absolute disaster of every single one of those things. But what they are trying to do is demoralise us. And that is really the battle ahead of us in the next 6 weeks. Let me respond to their arrogance. Even with the polls and all Dennis O'Brien's media propaganda, if you look at the polls now, this government will not be returned. They will not be returned. And they will not be returned because of water charges, because of the homelessness crisis, because of what they've done to the health service, because of the overcrowded classrooms, because they have plundered our pockets to enrich Dennis O'Brien and the Golden Circle in this country. But whether we realise their worst nightmare depends on what we do over the next 6 weeks. And what is absolutely critical is that we come back here on the Saturday before the election in our hundreds of thousands. We have to bring Dublin to a standstill on that day. And whether we do that depends on the people here. We can't do it. This is the biggest mass movement in the modern history of the state. We have to translate that onto the streets on that Saturday, and then we have to translate it into a riot at the ballot box, which will sweep Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and Labour off the political stage. So I conclude, we have a choice in this historic year of the centenary? Do we let Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and Labour drag us back to the cronyism, to the corruption, to the inequality, to the injustice? Or do we bring ourselves forward for an Ireland, a new Ireland, based on equality, solidarity, social justice and fairness for all? The choice is yours.
Richard Boyd Barrett. He's been doing that all morning in Dunleary. I don't know how he does it. Excellent, Richard. Brilliant. We're now going to call a community activist that has been